Y'all, welcome back. This is day 4, meaning we have made it more than halfway through Hybrid X. So give yourself a pat on back. That is absolutely amazing. Once you get through the workouts, of course. And today is a favorite leg day of mine. It is hamstring and a glute split. So this is going to be epic. As always, I'm not going to give you bad workouts. So let me know if you are doing day 4 with us. And before we get into it, as always, I work in special tips so that you have the playbook to your best version. And today we're talking about nutrition with a focus on carb cycling. So when it comes to hybrid athletes, I had to ask myself, do they even need to carb cycle? So carb cycling was introduced to me during my bodybuilding days. So what that means is you have higher carbs on like a leg day, or a 2-session day, which is what we're doing every single day and why I'm asking this question. And then you do lower carbs and more fats on a mobility or a rest recovery day. So that's the basics of carb cycling: an influx of carbs on your 2-a-days, large sessions or heavy sessions, and then lower carbs on your rest recovery mobility type days. So with Hybrid X, we're typically working 2 times a day, and you should be working in rest days as needed. So those would be lower carb. And that's just the basic overview of it. But don't get it twisted. Carb cycling doesn't mean 0 carbs. It does not mean eliminate them. So nothing I promote is going to be to the extreme. I don't think that that's safe nor healthy. So with that being said, it doesn't mean 0 carbs. It does not mean eliminate them. It means you're fueling the effort appropriate to your exertion. And something I'm dialing back in personally is making sure not to undereat. And as you can see with my physique, we are dialing in on what works best for my body. Everybody is different. Look, a road runner. Anyways, so I break down an example of my meal plan that I'm using because I don't typically change my breakfast and lunch. I'll alternate my dinners for some variety, as well as I have a child who doesn't eat anything that I do. So I have to cook 2 dinners anyways every single night. But that's where I get creative, is dinner time. But cop my free PDF that is in every link, bio, description, on all, it's everywhere. So in that, I break down my meal plan. I am at 2,200 calories a day with a 40% protein breakdown, 35% carb, and 25% fat. So with my carb cycle, typically if I work in a rest day or a mobility day, I'll probably go a little bit lower on carbs and then a little bit higher on the fat. So essentially, if you're doing 1 a day, and it is an upper body or a recovery day, you're just gonna flip-flop the carbs and fats. So instead of 35% carbs, you'll have 25% and 35% fats. I hope that makes sense. But if you just refer to the PDF, I show you all for free. Again, this is free, everything is free. I show you how to calculate your daily calories and your macro splits and how to put those meals together. I have a separate video as well on that that's going to pop up. So all of that is in the PDFs, as well as the time-stamped links if you want to be able to figure this out for yourself, but I'm more than happy to help point you in the right direction. Number 1, it's not about low carb, it's about smart carb timing. Carb cycling isn't keto, it's about fueling your carbs on high output days. You're not going to restrict carbs every single day, but you're working them around your heavy sessions. You don't restrict carbs every single day, you prioritize them around your hardest lifts. I'm not cutting carbs, I'm controlling them around the demands of the day, so my hardest work and output. Number 2, performance over aesthetics. So traditional carb cycling is usually around physique or fat loss, but hybrid athletes cycle carbs to recover faster. So don't take my words as we're not aiming for fat loss. Just know that there is so much more output performance-wise from a hybrid athlete that fat loss is going to happen. So cycling our carbs for a hybrid athlete is around pushing harder, recovering faster, and staying lean. It is not to starve the body. Number 3, undereating is the worst and biggest enemy. Most hybrid athletes don't eat enough carbs, and that's the problem. And this is especially prevalent in women as they are so afraid of carbs. If you're lifting heavy and running and doing the cardio workouts, you need the glycogen. Underfueling leads to fatigue, poor performance, injury, poor sleep, poor recovery, all of it. So as a tip, track your sleep, your mood, and your energy. If you're crashing mid-run, you're feeling that fatigue during your lift, you're probably not consuming enough carbs. And remember, carbs doesn't mean bread and pasta. It means your fruits, your veggies, the rice, the oats, all of the things, but it's not just like a loaf of bread. So number 4 is a sample cycle strategy. So on my heavy leg days, 2-a-days, really high output work days, I'm going to have high carbs. This is your rice, your oats, your fruits, things like that. All of those are going to surround that workout, especially like today where it is a heavy leg day. On my moderate days, which are going to be my upper body days, typically I'm going to lower the starchy carbs, but I'm still going to consume them. This is what we call a moderate carb day. And then of course, a low carb day is going to be on my rest recovery days, maybe a recovery walk. I'm still having the output, but not necessarily or at all as high as my leg days or a really hard 2-day session. So on low carb days, I am dropping all the starchy carbs. I'm keeping my protein high, and I'm also going to make sure my veggies are high. So the moral of the story, I don't cut carbs, I earn them per the output. Number 5, intuition or being intuitive isn't the enemy, but it can lead to a plateau. So I've been intuitive for a while as I've been through a lot of, competitions and certain types of training where I know what food looks like. However, I noticed I was under eating for my newer goals because I'm doing 2-a-days. So that's what it really leads to, that plateau. So typically if you're intuitive, you might stay at your maintenance calories and your maintenance look. But if you're trying to drastically change what you're doing, you need to be updating your macros, your carb cycling. All of this stuff comes into play. So if you are chasing performance like me, then intuition has to come together with real data, which is tracking, to yield the best performance results. And last, number 6 is that coaches rarely tell you the why. Most plans we know are cookie cutter, gimmicky, all of that. But carb cycling, macros, your calories are very specific to you. So these are going to be based on your training goals, how much you're really putting out energy-wise, as well as your cycle if you're a female. And of course, not to mention, we all have very different goals for ourselves. So all of that goes into your very unique nutrition plan and how you carb cycle. I tried keto probably about 8 years ago. So once I had my son, I tried keto, I lost some weight, but then I realized without the carbs, I was not performing. I was hitting fatigue, brain fog, and beyond the initial keto flu symptoms, it was just going on and on. I need carbs to fuel my body. So again, everyone's different. Consult a doctor if you have pre-existing conditions. Again, these are just suggestions and education for you so you can do your own research. Most coaches just tell you what to eat. I'm telling you why so that you can make that adjustment for yourself. We have to take control of our lives. And this is not me saying coaches are bad, and nobody's made equal, but I'm talking about all of these influencers that come out and try to tell you things without science and data and the why. Everyone is very unique. And from my own one-on-one coaching experience, I had clients with such varying issues that everything I gave, I made sure that they consulted their doctors if they had conditions that need to be met or certain restrictions on food because of medication. So just know that everyone is different. Not all coaches are the same, but make sure you always ask why. All right, friends. Today, we are hitting hamstrings and glutes, and we're starting with the hack squat. But first, I'm going to roll out, and I'm actually going to put my knee sleeves on. I use Gym Reapers. And we are going to get loose, because this is going to be your hip flexors, roll out your hip flexors, hamstrings, glutes. It's going to be epic. So stay tuned. This is a good lift. All right, we are going to start with a warm-up set. This warm-up set has no weight on it at all. This is a reverse hack squat. This is just to loosen up. Do around 10 reps. This is 5 sets. Warm-up does not count. This is my official 5th set, but 4th working set. Basically saying get motivated, get into this. This is fun. It's not quite heavy enough for me to need my belt. That last set, the 3 plates per side, I got to 10. So I'm gonna shoot for 8 to 10 on this last one as well. I just kept it at 3 plates. Each week I will go up. Usually I do go to 4, but you have to know when you're not feeling it. So mindset for today is a very important phrase that I live by and have been living by for the last 12, 14 years, and that is train your mind and your body will follow. Discipline doesn't come from motivation, it comes from clarity. If you want to be a hybrid athlete or you just want to be an athlete, whatever insert you want to be of this, then act like one. When your mind says don't quit, your body's not even going to argue with that. This is how your identity changes. So next time you feel tired or you don't want to do this or your brain starts saying, I want to quit, ask yourself, what would this new version that I want to be say right now, do right now, and then go and do it. This is a short and sweet segment that is super important to me, but when you train your mind every single day, which is why we do the mindset piece, you are going to have an identity shift. You just have to want it and you have to do the things this version of you would do. So anyways, that is it for day 4. I appreciate all of you so much for being here. I love you. The free PDF is in the newsletters. Everything is in my description. As I said before, grab it, read it. The newsletter also has a ton more tips every single day for the 7 days. And if you ever have missed one and you're just joining now, you just go to the website version and everything is listed as almost like a blog post. I'm always trying to put out as much value as I can. And the best way you can support this channel is by subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing, all of the things. And if you use any of my links in the bio, thank you. That is how I continue to generate the best content for you forever free on YouTube. So take care, and we're gonna see you on day 5.